Welcome to the Temple of Flame. And today, faithful acolytes, we take a look at this. And what this is Yancey's fancy ghost pepper New York cheddar cheese. I don't know what the difference between New York cheddar cheese is versus medium, versus age, versus sharp, versus extra sharp, versus Dublin. I don't know. But I guess we will find out. So we have cheddar cheese, we have ghost pepper mash. Not to be outdone, we have ghost pepper flakes and ghost pepper extract. So, I would imagine there will be a fair bit of heat here to be had, to be sure. So I think what we're going to do here is we're going to drag over some party stuff. Party here. But we'll get to all that here momentarily. It's not having in the shot just yet. I'm probably not supposed to do that. Probably not supposed to point the knife at you. But I think given the distance that it is pointed at a camera where you are not, and this will be posted many days after it's actually filmed, I think we can consider you safe. At least from this. Alrighty, so let's have a smell here. Ooh, you know what this actually kind of reminds me of though? It reminds me of the Hillshire farm cheeses, if you've ever had those. Like the holiday ones, have a fairly distinctive smell to them. That's what this reminds me of. Interesting. All right, so let's... I'm just going to cut off a chunk like yay. Now, most of the time, dairy and hot peppers are a bit sort of counter, I wouldn't say counterproductive, but you got some nullifying effects. Of the capsaicin, because capsaicin, well, it likes to bind to the actual heat receptors in your body. It also likes to bind chemically, even more so to stuff like casein. So, if you are not lactose intolerant, you have sort of a little secret weapon built in there, potentially, for relief. Now, when you look at, actual medical organizations like hospitals and whatnot, if you go there because you got, the heat of whatever you just ate was too much, then you may get your stomach pumped or you may be given some dairy, which to me is kind of telling. Because if dairy didn't work, why would medical professionals be handing it out? All right, so we've got here these wonderful things. These are from Jacob's. They are the Tuck sweet chili crackers. So we're just going to have cheese and crackers. This is one of the hotter cheeses I've had. It is quite punchy. It is very definitely a good, strong, legit one. Easily. Will it be more? I don't know. And I'm sure the extract So this isn't. This is actually what I would say is a pretty good use of extract, actually. You have this fairly strong flavored cheese that I honestly don't really love the flavor of, but and you've got some nullification here that if you want to add some heat, you could throw in the extract, and it so far it seems to be masking the flavor of that. Now there is a sort of, when I say I don't really like the flavor of this, there is an artificiality to it. It could be out, but I don't know what they're saying. Keep in mind, I don't know anything about making cheese. When they're saying pasteurized process, I don't know what that means. It could be that, though. All right, so that was good, but these are really good to begin with. So let's get something neutral, which is this. Back to Nature Stone Ground Crackers. Let's get a few of those. These are neutral. No real flavor to them. I actually have I will say, kind of a impressive burn going on for a cheese. This is definitely one of the hotter cheeses I've had. I do wish the flavor was better. I don't love this flavor. All right. So when we get away from that really wonderfully sweet chili cracker here, and we go to a more neutral cracker, this reminds me. So I think that Hillshire. The reason I mentioned that Hillshire cheese, Hillshire Farms, the holiday cheese, has a certain artificiality to it. That's what this reminds me of. I don't think it's the actual extract. The extract is providing a fair amount of heat. I will say that. So we got some Bridgeford Italian salami. And these, just picked up a pack of these so I could stare in befuddlement at the packaging. So I could have, I wanted to have some meat and cheese. Man, that is, I'm going to say it's actually over a 1. That is super impressive. Wow. Who would have thunk it? All right. So I'm going to cut this down a little bit closer, hopefully, to the size of this, the thickness of the salami. Not quite right. Oh, that is good. I wish this salami is a bit thicker, but it's not. So I'm going to try 2. Oh man, that is nice. Super impressive. Wow. So heat-wise, this is. We have a pretty satisfactory punch here. Wow. A flavor I'm not fond of. I wouldn't get it again because of that. I don't think the flavor is good, like, at all. But for actually a cheese delivering some heat, I mean, quite impressive. I might try eating a little bit more just to see how much higher we can go. I put it right now more one and a half probably. So really, really good use of extract. The flavor of the cheddar is unfortunately not very good though. The salami is definitely helping it quite a bit. Very interesting. You know, if eggs weren't $1 million, I'd say this could make a really interesting omelet. And as I film this, it is late January. And egg prices are still hanging in there. All right, I'm gonna try this on actual flavored crackers this time, just because I'm curious with the salami. All right, here we go. Like I said, I'm not overall, I don't generally like extracts, like ever. I will say, in this very, very specific case, that this is a good use of it. I do really wish this flavor was better though. It reminds me so much. Obviously, I'm not particularly a fan of that Hillshire Farms cheese. Whatever they do to it to make it so that you can just throw it in plastic and not have to refrigerate it. The flavor of this just reminds me of that so much, which is a shame. Okay, well. You know, and if you're going to go with ghost pepper, why not lean into the smokiness a little bit? Heat-wise, for a cheese in particular, it is honestly pretty impressive. This is one of the hotter cheeses I've had. And you can check out the Hot Animal Action playlist for the rest of them if you're interested. Unfortunately, I would not say it's one of the better flavored ones. It would be near the bottom probably in terms of flavor. I don't find the flavor of this particularly enjoyable. If you do like those holiday Hillshire Farms cheeses, however, you might like this better. So usually it's the other way around. Usually flavor-wise, it tends to be solid, and then heat-wise tends to be the letdown. This one is the inverse. It is heat-wise, like I said, definitely for a cheese, it was fairly impressive. But flavor-wise, it is. It's not it. It is not it, unless, like I said, you like that sort of thing. So, yep, I have run out of cheeses of this type. This one I found by accident. I didn't know it was even there. But I have scoured all the places where I can reasonably get cheese. Trying to order it means that I have to pay a bunch in shipping. And I'm just not inclined to do that. So I don't know how many more cheeses I'll be doing, but definitely if I come across any more. They are kind of fun to do, and I really think they have some interesting approaches. My preference would be more for flavor over heat, however, I would say for sure. And who knows, maybe that extract did have something to do with the flavor. I don't know. But I guess kind of a mixed bag, and we'll just leave it right there. So that was the Yancey's Fancy Ghost Pepper New York Cheddar Cheese. Now go full in peace to serve the flame.